Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Happy St. Patrick's Day if you're celebrating. This is the Pick a Stick Challenge Altered Tag Challenge for March 2019. We added an Altered Tag Challenge so that we have now 3 randomly drawn one-word prompt challenges from the Pick a Stick Challenge Facebook group. I will link the group in the description box below the video where it says show more. You can click and there'll be links to ask to join the group. Everyone is really participating in all these challenges. You can do your challenge and post your artwork in the group for everyone else to see and to tell you what an awesome job you did and all that. So for the Alter Tag Challenge, there are 4 prompts that you do in order. You can do something before, you can do something after, you can do something in between. There's also a color, and the color for this month and randomly drawn was jade. So I decided to make a St. Patrick's Day tag today because that seemed fun. The first prompt was glue, and I decided to try a resist technique using white glue. I used tacky glue, which is a PVA white glue. You could just use children's school glue, would probably even work better than this because tacky glue is a little bit hard to draw with because it's thick. That's why it's called tacky. So once I had drawn some shapes onto my manila shipping tag, then I dried that and used some sprays, some Tattered Angel Glimmer Mist spray to go over it, and I have a spray box for that so that I don't make a big mess all over my desk, which I have been known to do. And this is water-soluble ink spray that has mica in it, so it's kind of shimmery. And the areas where the glue were resisted the color a little bit, and also it gives kind of a textured background, kind of a embossed feeling background. It was pretty fun. I thought that that worked fairly well for what I wanted. The second step in the challenge was smear, and I decided to add a little bit more definition to my background using oil pastels. These are just really cheap Michaels oil pastels, and oil pastels have kind of a creamy finish, and so you can smear them very easily. So that's what I grabbed. Another option could have been something like gelatos or something like that, or scribble sticks from Dina Wakley, or distress crayons from Ranger, you know, those type of products that have a smearability. That's what I was going for. And I'm just adding colors here and there. This took away a little bit of my sparkle and shimmer and shine that I had with the Glimmer Mist because oil pastel is flat, matte. But I wasn't too worried about it. I was just messing around, just trying to do the steps, do them in order, and come up with something interesting. So pretty happy with the background. I was done with that. The next step was to draw. And if you can't draw or you don't think you can draw, everybody can draw simple shapes, you know. But I was kind of inspired. My birthday was recently, and my aunt, who is a quilter, sent me some homemade, home-sewn pillowcases for my birthday. And they were made with St. Patrick's Day fabrics. One of them is a black fabric with shamrocks on it. Then there's like a green. And then this other pattern is this pattern of dogs dressed up for St. Patrick's Day. And they're really cute. They're cute little dogs. And I decided to imitate one of the dogs on the pattern and draw it for my draw section. So, you know, that pattern on that fabric is probably copyrighted, right? It's not my drawing, it's not, but because I drew it, and there is a significant difference between what I drew, even though it was inspired by someone else's drawing, it is now mine. So there is not any copyright infringement going on there. I know people fuss about that every time I get that a lot on my channel, people fussing about copyrights. But yes, this is the original image on the fabric's probably a copyrighted image, but I just drew something like it something pretty darn similar, but like it. And it's in my own hand. I didn't trace it or photocopy it or anything like that. So I don't see any problem with using other art that's out there, illustrations or whatever, to inspire what you're doing. Not to copy, but to inspire. So I thought this little dog with the green bow and the leprechaun hat was cute. So I drew one like it. I used a pencil to start out with, and then, I have a lot of hesitation marks and things like that, so then I can erase all those, redraw, whatever, so you don't have to worry so much about being exact when you're drawing with a pencil, because you can always erase it. And then I went over it with Faber-Castell pit pins, which are a India ink pen in a felt tip, and it comes in a lot of different widths. And something that makes an illustration more interesting is to vary the line width. So I started out with a very small pen, and then I went back over in some areas of the lines and thickened them up using the brush tip, and also filled in the eyes, filled in the nose and stuff like that with the brush tip. You can get even more crazy than this and go and, do dots and hash marks and all kinds of interesting stuff in your illustrations. But just make sure that you're using a permanent pen. The paper that I'm doing it on is a smooth 80-pound cardstock. And I know that this will do well. The reason I picked that cardstock is that I know it will do well with these alcohol markers. These are Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. I have a whole big set of them that I got for Christmas a couple years ago, and I don't use them very often, but alcohol markers are permanent, and you can use them in your mixed media because you can go over them with other wet media and they won't run or smear. So using something like some kind of water soluble marker is not as good in this type of an application. So I'm using 3 different colors of greens, and starting with the lightest color, then filling in with darker and darker in the shadow areas. And then the hat, I started with the darkest marker and went to the lighter markers. It's, sometimes people start with the medium marker. There's a lot of techniques out there, and there's lots of videos about it using alcohol markers. I'm not all that into it. It's not like the thing that I do, so I'm not going to try to explain my technique or I don't know. It's just alcohol markers blend really well. They don't leave streaky marks, and that's the reason that people like them. They're great for using with stamped images and things like that. So then I used a water-based Sharpie metallic marker to color the little buckle, and then add some gold dots in the fabric of the band and the bow around the dog's neck. Just for fun, add a little bit of gold. And then I picked out some colors. I have that chart that you're looking at. That's my swatch chart. I printed that off of the Spectrum Noir site so that I could just swatch it and know what colors are in these markers, because you can't really tell from the end of the marker. There's not enough variation of color in what the colored plastic piece they put on the end of the marker to try to indicate what color it is. You can't pick them from that. You got to have a swatch chart for these, because sometimes what's on the end of the marker doesn't look anything like what it actually comes out as, and you're disappointed. So definitely make a swatch chart if you're going to do these types of markers from Spectrum Noir. So then I'm coloring in the darkest parts first on the dog. He has a few little spots, a cute little spot around one of his eyes. Then I color in the body with some lighter markers, a couple different lighter markers. And if you need the specific colors, they'll be listed in the description box below the video with all the materials that I used in this project with links, and you can find them that way. They have silly numbers like, LG3 and BG5 and whatever, so yeah, those things do mean something, but that's how the colors are marked. The only one I forgot to write down is the pink that I used on the tongue, but it's a pink, whatever, it's just a pink. So Anyway, I just finished coloring up with all my alcohol markers, making it kind of shadowed and highlighted using different colors of darks and lights. And then I'm going to cut it out. Oh, I do add a couple little catch lights in his eyes using a Posca pen, and that completes my step draw. Then I cut it out, and I went around the edges because this is a cardstock, not a thin paper. There is a white edge around it, and I used that brush marker from the illustration set to just like go around the edges of the cardstock and get rid of any of that white because it bothers me. I don't like it. So then the fourth step in the challenge is medium, and I decided to use gloss medium. This is a DecoArt premium brand, line from Americana. Gloss medium, heavy gloss gel is called. The reason I chose gloss is because I did still have a little bit of that shimmer and shine from the Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and I didn't want to obliterate it. If you are going to use a matte medium, it's going to take away anything that's shiny because it's matte. So I see a lot of people make that mistake. They've got matte medium, that's what they collage with, and they're trying to get something shimmery, but they then go and put matte over the top of it, and it just takes away all the shimmery stuff. So that's no fun. So if you're using something like Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, you should use it with a gloss medium. So then the next thing I did was add shadows around my cutout piece. I think it integrates it into the project a lot better. I was going to do it with the alcohol markers. I realized I can't blend them because once you put them on there, they're done. So I would have had to put a dark and then a medium and then a light, and it was bleh. So I grabbed a couple colors of PaperOcotilloStudio Pit pins, which again are the India ink dry permanent, but they give you a couple seconds to blend. And so I use those to do the shadows around my little doggy and to give him a shadowed area to stand on ground. I don't like it when things float. It bothers me. And then I did look through my Tim Holtz stickers, and I was trying to find something cute for St. Patrick's Day that said, you know, Aaron go bra, or you know, something, but there wasn't anything. So I just decided to go with my sticker maker, which is a Brother P-Touch, and just print out Happy St. Patrick's Day, simple sentiment for this tag. Add a little bit of shadow around that, and same PaperOcotillo Pit pins that I can blend a little bit. Then I backed it with some cardstock and added some fibers, just using some tacky glue again to glue it to the cardstock. I like having that little bit of edge, a little bit of border around tags. I think that looks good. I like it. So I pretty much always do that. Not every single time, but almost always. Also makes them a lot more sturdy. They're not, you know, any bending that you might have from the different mediums that you put on, that, you know, wet stuff that you put on and kind of warped it a little bit, it'll get straightened out by putting that cardstock backer. Then I just added some fibers through the hole, and I was finished with this project. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment or question or greeting for St. Patrick's Day down below. I did make St. Patrick's Day food and stuff like that. I'm not of Irish descent. I'm actually from a combination of Scottish and German, but I still love to celebrate all the cultures in the world, and I think everyone should. We should all, you know, think about other people's cultures and find out what's interesting about them. So that's it for me. Bye-bye.